If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio. Okay guys, so this is a video I've wanted to make for a little while now. I've been threatening to make it in a few videos. I've spoken about how there's like a male age compound effect. So there's like a progress meter. There's like a progress kind of like loading bar, okay, throughout your life. 100% is you at your maximum. You've accomplished everything you've ever wanted to accomplish, okay? You're exactly where you want to be. You might be 60 years old when you tick that box, okay? And then there's you at birth. That's the start of the loading bar, imagine that. From 0 to like 18, you probably make like 1% progress, 2% progress, and that's just called development. Mental development, physical development, it's nothing special, okay? But here's where guys get really disheartened. A lot of guys will be pushing 30 and they're like, shit, my life's gone nowhere. Where is this all headed? Am I actually doing anything of worth? Have I wasted all this time? What should I have done? How do I play catch up? That guy's slightly ahead of me. And I made this kind of like chart years ago, which kind of like evaluated this in a man's life. And it's like stuck with me forever. Some of you might have seen it. It was a long time ago. It just compared 9-to-5 job with entrepreneurship. But it's very much the same curve for men in general. And that is that there's like an exponential compound effect where the amount of like years and hard work that you put in prior in the past, they culminate, they add up. It's almost like taking little pieces every single time, like a snowball. Okay, like let's say you grab a little bit of snow, it's quite small. You roll it downhill, it's picking up little bits of snow. Before you know you are, it's that big, it's going to make a serious impact. Okay? It's the same thing in male life. And the main point of this video, if you want to take one thing away, is this, okay? This is the main statement that I want to focus on. From 18 to 29, okay? It's not always the same. It might be different levels, but I quite like the numbers here. I quite like the fact that it gets you 1 year before 30, and it's the panic station for a lot of guys. But from 18 to 29, you might make, remember the loading bar, you might make 0.2% of all the progress you will ever make in your life. Because you're building. It's the compound effect. Your 18th year, you worked so hard and you made miniature progress. Nothing really happened. In your 19th year, you made a slight little bit more, but not a lot. In your 20th, you actually made less. You were just like trying to figure shit out. It didn't really work. 21st, a few things moved forward, but not a lot. 22nd, you actually had to go back a step. You know, and this kind of trend continues. But what is happening along this whole way is it's not wasted work. It's like in the gym. You lift loads of weights, you build muscle, you build strength, and then you stop for 2 years and you lose all your gains. You've still got nuclei stored in the muscles. It's always there. It's like a bank account for muscles. So when you go back and you start lifting weights again, you can return that pretty quickly. Well, it's the same with the compound effect of like hard work in whatever you do, whether it's gym, whether it's success, whether it's working on yourself or whatnot. Could be like facial exercises. Your face will remember those movements. It will get stronger over time. Your bones will remodel. Like shit is kicking in, okay? So if for like 11 years, you're in the gym, but you're kind of like wasting your time along the way. You're like, I did this for 2 years, didn't really work. I made some results, didn't really work. You're still making progress. It might be small, but eventually you'll figure it all out and it's going to click. That's what's happened to me. With success, you might be doing endless nights, endless weekends, 18-hour days. You're losing sleep and you're like, where's this actually going? I'm missing out on life. You're putting points on the board. You're investing. You're putting money in that bank account. But the money, the currency that you're using here is almost like sweat equity. It's the compound effect. It's something that you can call back upon later on down the line, okay? It's like with First Man now, like I'm growing. There's a lot of followers growing on YouTube. Well, there was a time when, like a year ago, I made that self-improvement September video. It got 850 views collectively. I've made the same video since. I haven't checked. I assume it's close to like 4,000 or 5,000 views now. And it's only been out for like 2 days, 3 days. Well, that's the compound effect paying off. It's not, oh, I worked hard today. I made a video and I put the right thumbnail on it and all that shit. No, the majority of the work, 90% of the work, comes from a year ago, making videos consistently every 2 or 3 days, putting them out, building up a solid audience, earning the respect of the people who are watching these videos, I hope, so that when I post, people go, oh, I'll watch that. Putting out enough content where I've reached enough people's screens when now they've subscribed, and when a video pops up, they click on it. So now I get more views per video, which means that it's going to attract more people because it's going to reach more people's screens. It's just how the algorithm works. It's nothing special. And this is why when people say overnight success, like in a year's time, this channel, if it goes through the same growth, will have like 200,000, 250,000 subscribers. If it goes through the same growth again, 1 point whatever million. And then people will say, and this guy just arrived on the scene out of nowhere. It was like an overnight success story. It's like, no, well, there's a lot of stuff in the background. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it, which then builds up to where you're going to be. Okay? And from 18 to 29, the level of progress you might make, like I said, might be that big. Might be 0.5% of all the total progress you're ever going to make in your life. And then from 29 to 30, you might make 5% progress. And that's the entire game right there. And people go, well, how did I make 5% progress in 1 year? I made more progress in 1 year than I did in all those other years. Why didn't I just do what I did this year in all those other years? Imagine where I'd be now. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Those years were necessary to put you in the position to have that type of year from 29 to 30. All the work that I've done since I was like 19 when I started my first stupid business, all that kind of like knowledge that I built up, all that experience, all those mistakes and failures, and then the successes that you do have and you learn from it, the loans that I took when I was young that I have to pay off, the lessons that I learned, the shit that I was able to do with that money that I didn't really have at the time that allowed me to grow a little bit quicker, to learn some lessons quicker, to execute on a few things, okay? All the research that you're doing, all the gym sessions that I did, all the calisthenics I did for years. Of course, that calisthenics is now benefiting my body when I'm lifting weights because I've got a good core, fundamental foundation for strength. You see what I mean, guys? All this stuff adds up. It was building nuclei. It was building weird strength. It built up a really big back. So when I started lifting weights, that back got massive. It's shit like that. It's shit like that. Like I have quite naturally big triceps. It really pops. It's always done it since I was young. Well, I was doing a lot of pull-ups and stuff. I was doing a lot of dips. I was going on top of the bar when I was doing muscle-ups and I was doing push-ups like that, and it was building up my triceps. I used to do weights and boxing in the garage with my dad when we were really young, when I was really young. And I was like 4 or 5 years old and I was lifting weights and doing a bit of boxing. I was going out and doing hill sprints. It's not a shock that I then became a good footballer. I was practicing all the time. I was in the gym. I was wheelbarrowing. I was like running up hills with the wheelbarrows. My legs were building up. It's not a shock that I was the fastest kid in my school. A lot of this shit pays off, and it's the same in your life. People say, oh, luck or chance or whatever, or right place, right time. A lot of it is causality. A lot of it is cause and effect. It's like, what did you do prior to get you in that situation? And then that 18 to 29 period might just be hard work that's putting you in a position to take advantage of the right timing, the right occasion, the right opportunity. And then you make 5% progress in 1 year and you go, wow, everything just took off. You hear all those stories. It's like the hockey stick graph where it just goes along, up, and skyrockets. Well, it's the same thing. That's the compound effect. You couldn't just do nothing for all those years and then go 29, 30 and shoot off to the sky. It's not going to work the same. Without those 11 years of just kind of in the mud, things not really going your way, you're wondering where this is headed. Without those, the good year wouldn't exist. The exponential growth, the amazing growth year where you ended up gaining, I don't know, you might sell a magazine, you ended up gaining like 100,000 subscribers, or your fashion line ended up getting worn by a top influencer. Without all those years of hard work and failures and whatever, that influencer would have never have found your clothing. It's like a necessary part of what's to come. And this is the same in a 9-to-5 job. You might go to that 9-to-5 job every day for 5-6 years. You're in the rain, you're pissed off, you're cold, like you get shouted at by the boss, but you're sticking it through. And then all of a sudden, from 29 to 30, they give you a serious promotion. Everything goes well. You get bonus at the end of the year. And you're like, shit, I've tripled my wages. I've gone from 50k per year to 150k per year. I'm kind of balling. I'm kind of a senior member of staff here. Like, when did this all happen? But it's because companies trusted you, because you've just done 11 years of hard work, you've been through the apprenticeship scheme, you've been through everything. Well, suddenly it all takes off. Now you're going for lunches with the boss. Now, the hottest girl in the office is noticing you, and you're like, shit, like things have really gone well this year. Well, yeah, it's like a knock-on effect. It's like a chain reaction. That influences that, which puts you in this position. You have to go back a bit, but you didn't give up. 4,000 other people gave up. So then you moved forward quicker because they did. Took 2 years longer, but you made it. Right? And everyone else gave up because they weren't willing to do that. Then you move on to the next stage and you had a decent year and things started to build a little, but it was only a small trough. And then or a small peak, sorry. And then you think to yourself, oh, do I quit? Do I move on? Do I change jobs? But you stuck it out. And then the company are like, we like this guy. He's got good loyalty. That was the trigger. Bang. They promoted you. Then they promoted you again. In 3 years, you've been promoted 3 times. You're in a management position. You had a great year of sales. The guy who's above you, who's 68 years old, retired. Bang, you got pushed up. It's just like little things can just hit. Just like that one trigger. Bang, done. Chain reaction. Made more progress in 12 months than you did in 10, 11 years. Think about that, guys. You can make more progress in 1 year than you will in 11. But without those 11, that 1 year of progress wouldn't work. And then from like 30 to 31, you might make like another 10% of progress. So now you're like, fuck, this is unrecognizable. Good job I stuck it out to this point. And then the next year is like 10%. Like you see these overnight success stories where it's like this person was a nobody this time last year. Now suddenly they're a superstar. It happens all the time, okay? It doesn't matter what you do. You just don't know what that trigger point is going to be. You don't know what's coming next. I always heard years ago, they always said it only takes one piece of content to go viral. That's all you need. One piece of content. I could make one video that ends up getting 5 million views and it gets shared like fuck on TikTok or something. And then you've got 500,000 subscribers. All buying all my supplements and whatever. Then I've got to buy like 10 times more stock. Then I've got to go and do the clothing, the skincare. Because I'm like, well, I've got spare cash. This is a great opportunity. Then I set all this garage up to be like a proper podcast. Or I go and get my place in London that I wanted. And I turn it into a great podcast with a beautiful view. Start inviting big guests on because then I can pay them like $5,000 just to be there. And then suddenly overnight people are like, whoa, this took off. But it wouldn't have been accidental. It would have been a culmination of hard work to put you in that position. It's just how it works, okay, guys? It only takes like one thing. The nuclei that's stored in your muscles, it might be you've lost time, you lost a loved one, so you couldn't really train that year. COVID hit, the gym's closed. But you were building it up. You're storing all that muscle in your bank account. You've been going to the gym for 9 years and you've not really figured it out. But you go casually and whatever. And then there's 1 year where you get a certain piece of knowledge and you go, oh, like me saying cardio doesn't really work for men. You got to lift heavy. You got to do compound lifts. Oh, okay. I've been doing bodyweight training and jogging and rowing and whatever and boxing and it's been good, but maybe I'll go and do that now. So you go and do it. And because you've built up quite an athletic frame prior to that, bang, you get some serious beginner gains. And within a year, you're like, whoa, everything's like come together. I made more progress in this year than I did for 8-9 years in the gym just doing all this other shit. That's all it takes, guys. And then there's a culmination effect as well, which is the one that I'm interested in because that's what I'm working on is across the board. Where it's like I'm trying to get in shape. I'm building muscle. I'm trying to get the low body fat percentage. I'm removing water retention from my face. I'm going to go and get SMP. I'm dressing better. My business is getting stronger every single day. It's making a lot more money. It's going to hit that trigger point very soon where it's like incredible amount of money. I'm building up different businesses all the time. The equipment's going to get better. The whole place is going to improve, okay? So then the optics are better. People are like, wow, it looks incredible. I hire somebody, so then it means I've got more time. Like, it's the aggregation and marginal gains video that I made for you guys years ago. Like Team Sky, the cycling team, they improved the saddle by 1%. They improved the rider's power output by 1%. The foot turnover by 1%. It's the aggregation and marginal gains basically is instead of trying to make one giant improvement, you make various small improvements in a bunch of areas so that collectively they culminate to a giant improvement. 1% here, 1% here, 1% here, 1% here, 1% here. Massive improvement overall to that rider's performance or that individual's performance, whatever. That's the effect I go for with men's self-improvement. So then one day, 7 or 8 things might just click overnight, okay? So the money gets that little bit better. Your body fat percentage gets that little bit better. You've been working on your frame, you've boosted yourself up. You might be 5 kilograms heavier by the end of the year, okay? And all these things are just moving up very slowly in multiple areas. You know, you've got all these different areas moving up. So then one day, let's say you've got 50 features, 22 of them have risen to a really good level, okay? And then collectively, you're quite a fucking catch. You're quite a package. Oh shit, like, he's like a 7 across the board, like where I've said before about that straight 7 system. And you'll just feel it. One day it'll just click. In a business sense, oh, your TikTok gets to this level. Your Instagram gets to this level. Your YouTube gets to this level. Your website gets this many sales. Oh, you got to number 1 on Google on this one search thing. That's now bringing in an extra 2,000 people. That's generating an extra £400 per month. It's just little things like that, okay? And collectively, if you keep working on all areas of life and you have that aggregation and marginal gains kind of approach, eventually everything will come together. Eventually your equipment will upgrade. Eventually you will upgrade. Eventually you will learn more about life and you will become better and more efficient at your process. You might get up an hour earlier and it really impacts your day. It's not like when people say, oh, you should get up at 5 a.m. So that alone isn't going to improve your life, okay? Or like you should start the gym. Well, that alone is going to improve your life, but on a small scale. You get up at 5 a.m., you start going to the gym, you work an hour extra at night, you stop watching TV, you start eating clean, you start chewing mastic gum, you start doing orthotropics or learning about it. You change up your gym routine to the one that I believe is perfect to achieve the perfect male body. You give up your weekends, you start working on a business, you start learning about things like crypto and you make some smart investments. You stay patient for 2 years, whatever. One of those things on their own might improve your life a little bit. If you're doing everything collectively, do not be shocked if randomly from like 27 to 28, you wake up one day and you're like, fuck, my life's really good. And everyone's like, overnight success. Well, when did you get so successful? When did you start looking so good? When did all this happen? You're like, well, it's been a culmination effect. I haven't just been working in one area. I've been doing submental exercises. I've been monitoring my macros. I've been tracking my calories. I've been to the gym 6 days per week. I've been doing facial exercises. I've been trying to lower my water retention. You know, I've been bulking then cutting for years. I've been trying to figure this shit out. I've molded my training. I've been researching videos like crazy. I've been really taking care of my skin. I've changed my diet up so I'm not eating dairy and stuff. It seemed to just look a lot better. I've removed sugar from my diet. I've removed 50% of my salt intake for the day and it seems to be really like doing it for me. One of those things on their own is good. All of them collectively are going to change your life. And that is how you go from like 18 to 29, making zero progress or making minimal progress on what you thought would happen. And then from like 29 to 30, it's like you've loaded the cannon, everything's in place and bang. Okay, and it could be, you could have started at 14. It could be from 24 to 25, bang. It could be from 40 to 41 and you're like, I'm so far behind. My life's gone nowhere. What am I going to do? Fuck, I've wasted all these years. Bang, it takes off. And now suddenly your life is 20 times better than the average guy on the street and you're like, oh, it was all worth it. It all came together. But it doesn't get there by accident. You need to trust in the process. You need to enjoy the process more so because it's you improving. That's lovely. I love doing that shit. I love waking up every day and being better than yesterday. And if you can find more areas to work on, you know, which don't affect your day. So I always say you should have a big 3 and then other things as well. Like I'm debating whether to learn a language at the moment. I'm seeing if I've got time. If I don't, it gets thrown out until I have got time and I can hire a tutor. I can do it quick and efficiently. But, you know, that's how you do it. And you just like submental exercises, 2 minutes in the morning, orthotropics, just standard part of your day. You're just changing a habit. Getting in the gym should be part of everyone's day. Working on a business, going to your 9 to 5 job and giving it your all should normally be part of your day. Like a lot of these things are just standard. Clean diet, standard. Like, they're not impressive things, but culminated together, like water retention, learning about this shit. Just monitoring your macros. It takes 10 seconds to just put in which food you just ate. Am I in a deficit or a bulk? Or am I in maintenance? Like I'm going to track it. How many sugars am I having? It doesn't take a lot out of your day. It's very standard stuff, okay? I'm going to watch less TV. It's just a little bit of mental strength. I'm going to go to bed early. It's very easy to do. But you add all these things up, and that is how you get that exponential compound effect of male age. And you go from nothing to like an overnight success story. Everything comes together and people are going, I swear last year that guy was just like average guy. Look at him this year. And that's how it happens. It wasn't the last 6 months I really trained hard. It's like, yeah, that might have been the ribbon on the present. You know, that might have been the bow that gets tied onto the dress. But the hard work, the resourcing, the research, all that other shit, right? That came years before. It's like the nuclei in the muscles. Like it's getting stored up. It's getting built for when it finally all pops off and it all comes together. And just remember that loading bar, guys, okay? It's 100% progress that you'll make throughout your life. That's your perfect life. Just remember how small progress you make at the start. And then the increments at the start might be like 0.1%, 0.1%, and you see nothing. And then all of a sudden, bang, all growth goes the same way. And we see it in business. We see it in YouTube subscribers. We see it in followers on Instagram. And people go, yeah, that makes sense, the hockey stick graph. But we forget that it happens in male life. And this is why I always talk about the male advantage and how men peak later than women. The thing that we get valued on isn't beauty. Women want us to look good, but beauty is given to women. They don't have to earn it. It just gets given to them, okay? At like 16 years old and beyond. They just get better until like a certain age. Maybe it starts to curtail off at like 25, a little bit later, right? But for a man, that comes from the hard work that you put in. The things that inherently make us masculine are like earning potential, your assets, your frame, your masculinity, like building up your jaw, like a strong jawline and jaw muscles, whatever. And that comes from like years and years of working on it. Your confidence as an individual, your prowess, your ability to lead. None of this happens overnight. And that is why as men, it takes a long, long time and then we shoot up, okay? And it's like a compound effect of age. And never panic, because you don't know when you're 6 months away from that 10% jump where you'll go, wow, my life is unrecognizable. I'm so far ahead. That happened overnight. Massive leapfrog effect. You don't know when that's coming, okay? So always stay positive, always stay in those trenches, because you don't know when that big leap is going to kick off and that hockey stick graph is going to go. But you have to work in order to get there. You have to work on various areas at once. You have to be pushing forward on all fronts. Then you get that outlier male advantage effect where it all comes together, okay? If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio.